So I've discussed in previous videos about spiritual densities. I would like to focus on why fourth density mindset, or just fourth density, would be the next logical step in human consciousness. Spiritual density refers to the consciousness and sentience of inanimate or animate occupants in the known universe. To break it down, primordial building blocks of the universe, including atoms, mineral life, and mineral life, would be first density. Plant and animal life would be second density. Third density would be considered self-awareness, and with that comes with ego, unfortunately, and fortunately at the same time, I guess. You could say at a collective consciousness level, the Earth is a third density planet. In our own arrogance as a race, we could be considered the steward race of planet Earth. Objectively speaking, we do have more control, power, and influence over the planet than any known organism. As supposed stewards and caretakers of the planet, we've done a fine job looking after the planet, right? We don't start wars with each other over rational reasons. We don't have unrealistic expectations for our society. We care dearly for our mentally ill and unhealthy. We choose the best health alternatives for the people of this planet. There isn't one homeless man, woman, or child on the street. Even if there was, we would make damn sure we had some system in place so we could prevent homelessness, right? We have political leaders that have the citizens' interests at heart and knows what is best for our society, and won't give in to special interest groups that will pocket their money so they can continue to take advantage of the population and benefit only themselves. Artificially engineered substances in pill form, also known as pharmaceuticals, are certainly a better alternative than taking care of yourself in the long term. It's better to ignore the fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and pro-health foods. So let's go ahead and take nutrition in pill form. Let's go ahead and organize those pharmaceuticals and vitamins in that pill organizer so you'll know which ones to take every day. You may or may not have side effects or future problems down the road from taking those regularly, especially pharmaceuticals. Your doctor may or may not want to do a thorough diagnostic about why you have those problems and instead just listen to only the symptoms and prescribe you a pill for those symptoms. Why did I just mention these various things? This is what self-awareness and ego get you. You have a mix of people that want to manipulate and control you, and some people that are unconditionally loving. With that self-awareness, with that sense of self and sense of individuality, comes a choice. Do you want to stay in a artificial and superficial reality where the ego perseveres and your spirit is diminished? Do you want to give in to the control mechanisms that are in place and seem like you're a part of something and that you are fighting or believing in something that is normal for you to do? Is disrespecting someone else because of their political affiliation, sports team, or religion isn't the same as yours worth the conflict it starts between you and someone else or a group of people? What does this accomplish? A smug affirmation that you are better than someone else based on what lifts your ego up? Here comes the hippy-dippy, new agey, let's hold hands and prance towards the sunset alternative. So here it comes. That next step in human consciousness is unconditional love. The opposite of conditional love, which is ego, or third density or self-awareness. You know why Jesus Christ has attracted billions of followers? Because the closest thing to a mindset or density up from self-awareness or third density and ego is unconditional love, which is fourth density. I think fifth density consciousness is harder to comprehend or conceive of because it's two steps ahead of third density. So fourth density would seem to be a more preferable jump. Fifth density is unconditional love with wisdom, and logically speaking, you would probably would have to learn unconditional love first before adding wisdom to the mix to balance out the unconditional love. This is again why the idea of that love thy neighbor is a more reasonable jump and more attractive than becoming unconditionally loving and a wise person at the same time. Unconditional love has its own brand of wisdom in itself, but can be misguided without the backing of wisdom, which I will explain in another video. Humanity will have to be courageous enough to conduct a self-inventory at a collective level in order to make this jump to fourth density. We will have to admit our faults and shortcomings and understand the faults and shortcomings of other people. We will have to take some time to think about how everyday actions are affecting ourselves, other people, and the planet as a whole. Instead of fearing the traumas of the past, you must be courageous enough to seek out the spiritual significance of why it happened and then apply the proper brain training. Please view my videos on self-responsibility to have more insight into the spiritual component and cognitive component of self-responsibility. If you have a family or friend that is struggling with a problem that you don't understand, consider this. If you are going through a tough time, wouldn't you want someone to support you any way they can? If someone is doing it for attention, that in itself is a cry for help. Don't be quick to judge and help someone in need, no matter what the problem is. Judging someone for the problem and criticizing them only compounds the problem itself. Then you would have to ask yourself, why would you judge them in the first place? This goes back to conducting a self-inventory on your problems and being honest with yourself. Those issues that you are projecting are preventing you from evolving to the point of unconditional love. If you are projecting judgment onto another, those judgments are the unhealed aspects of the self. So, as always, explore the inner universe that is yourself.